Hey everybody, this is just a quick fun video with my thoughts on hashtag free Kesha. If you don't know, Kesha accused Dr. Luke, who works for Sony, of raping her when she was 18. That was like 10 years ago. And she's trying to get out of her contract with Sony because Dr. Luke works for them. And this is a video response to two other YouTubers whose opinions I have watched. Kevin Logan and JohnTheOther. Now, Kevin Logan's video was entitled I Stand with Kesha. And he said two things that I disagree with. The first one is that this proves rape culture. The verdict that came in from the courts that said that Kesha cannot nullify her contract because of the accusation that she's brought up. And what the court proclaimed was that there was no evidence of this rape, and they had no evidence to be able to break the contract for the things that she said. So I don't think that this proves rape culture. I think that this proves that courts will uphold contracts and abide by the law where there is no evidence that they should do anything else. And that just the accusation that somebody did something does not constitute evidence. He also said, the second thing that I disagree with, that this means that Kesha has to work with Dr. Luke. And that's not the case. I've read a couple articles about this, and Sony has actually offered her to work with other producers, but she has said that that's not a viable option in her opinion because they won't promote her as much because they like promoting Dr. Luke's work and they're very invested in him. Also, on top of that, if her accusation was true, then some of the money that she'd be making for Sony would be going back into Dr. Luke and his pockets. And he has said in a couple interviews that he has invested like $60 million in her being famous. And I was like, wow, that's how much it costs to become famous. Somebody has to, be your little Tinkerbell twink and give you $60 million worth of publicity. Shit. But the reason why they are not letting her out of her contract, even in the midst of such a stink, such a public relations nightmare, is because they've invested a lot of money in her fame. It's hard to imagine that anyone can become famous without someone promoting someone when it takes that much money to make someone famous. The other video that I saw was by JohnTheOther, and it was titled Kesha Proves You Can't Sign a Contract with a Woman. I disagree. This does not prove that you can't trust a woman's signature on a contract. This, if the allegation is false, may prove that Kesha can't be trusted. She's an individual person. But also, let me just throw this example at you all for a second here. Let's say I had a contract with JohnTheOther in order to make a couple of videos where I mentioned his name, and then I wanted out of that contract, and I said that JohnTheOther raped me up the ass a couple of years ago, and that was after, shortly after I made that contract with him. I'm a man, and he's a man, right? So it doesn't mean that women can't be trusted just because Kesha did this and she's a woman. Anyone can make a false rape accusation against anyone else, It just means that people have a certain sensitivity to that particular accusation, Doesn't mean that you can't trust one sex over the other anymore than before. No. And see, these are two opinions that are on, either side of the coin where they're very invested in which side they're on, the feminist side and the MRA side. And I just want to say that it's okay for you to have a third opinion here, like a middle ground, and say, I don't fucking know what happened. You know? Kesha didn't make any hospital visit or outcry statements to anyone when it happened. So it is just he said, she said right now. That's all we have to go on. And maybe I'll say I'm going to tip the scales a little bit on Kesha's side because, she is doing something very daring in risking her entire career being just summed up in just this case. But also, there's another thing that I've noticed in all of the support that she's gotten on the hashtag Free Kesha bandwagon. One person that really caught my eye, and that was Kelly Clarkson. And many of you might not know this because you're not pop culture fans, but Dr. Luke has worked with Kelly Clarkson throughout her whole career and would have a rapport with Kelly Clarkson. And Kelly Clarkson has come out in support of Kesha. This is somebody that knows Dr. Luke. Someone, I don't know him. I'm still like, I don't fucking know what's going on. But somebody who knows him and has worked with him for years is now supporting Kesha. So that, to me, tips the scales a little bit in my opinion. But still, I don't know. And if I were that judge, I would have made the same ruling. No, you can't break this contract because it just didn't meet the standard of having evidence to be able to break it. An accusation is not evidence. But, even Felicia Rashad supported Bill Cosby when he was having rape accusations. This is like as if Felicia Rashad said, no, Bill was kind of had a shifty eye and was looking at those women, all those years. This is how damning it is for Kelly Clarkson to come out in support of Kesha. And I think Sony should probably drop her, or offer her a deal where they might get some recoupment of their own promotion costs. But yeah, who wants to keep an artist around that doesn't want to make music for you for 6 more fucking albums? How much money are they possibly going to make off this versus the stink that's going to be attached to their name? I'd cut bait on that one. Those are my thoughts. Comment below if you think differently.